Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go. I hope you had a nice Christmas and a New Year's. The New Year is off to a raucous start. Love it. 2024 is here. This is the True North podcast, hosted by a brother, a mentor, and a friend, Billy North. He could be up there in Seattle or Oakland right now. We don't know. We'll find out. Yours truly, Mark Mancini, playing co-host, producing in Los Angeles. 347-205-9631 if you happen to miss it. 30 minutes goes by quick. Archive edition, blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports podcast platforms. Wherever you subscribe to the podcast, powered now by Mancini Media. So without further ado, more him, less of me. Let me lay the red carpet down, put the podium in place, hand off the mic. Bill, the threes, how are you? How can people get a hold of you? And we're bringing back this legend again. We closed 2023 with him. Now we bring him back in 2024. Such a pleasure to bring him. I'll let you introduce.
This is Mr. J.J. Guinn, who is one of my favorite people in the world. We go back a long way. I think I've probably met him in 73, somewhere around that ballpark or in spring training. He's working for the A's as a scout, and I was a new ball player for them, but as again, like I say, he's one of my favorite people. He's always kind to me and treated me well. How are you, Mr. Guinn?
I'm doing fine, Billy.
I know you are.
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to? Tell me something good. How's the family?
The family is doing well, and I'm doing okay. You know, I'm aging a little bit, and I have all of my buddies are aging also, so we go to lunch about once a month. You heard of Joe Gaines. He just passed away. And Joe Morgan used to come, and I told him, because all they talk about, Billy, is aging. And I told him I'm going to stop coming to lunch with them. I'm going to start going to lunch with young people because we got more in common.
Yeah, shoot. The fact is, I already know that I'm old. We don't need to reiterate and point it out every time I look up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's bring something new to this, or you'll continue. That's the only way you stay young. Is have some fresh input. Yeah.
Yes, I told them. I said, "What's wrong with you guys? You need to stay in your lane." See, because when you get out your lane, they disqualify you. So as long as you stay in your lane, you're okay. They start laughing, really.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm pretty much in my lane. You know, time passes you by.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll tell you this much: I had a good time. I don't care what they say.
No question about it.
If I leave out of here tomorrow, y'all have a party because I was blessed the whole way through this, and I had some fun.
Yes.
What about you, Mark?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, you know, and I want to kind of, you know, waver off a little on this. You know, Nick Saban retired at Alabama today, 17 years, and I know you guys probably know about all the titles and 7 national championships. He turned them into a national power. 6 of those titles, unbelievable. The interesting thing is, it seems like his goal was always to help players create more value for their future, be the best player they could be, and be more successful in life because they were part of that great program. Anything you take out of that, what you try to help out when you're looking for people and you bring them into the Oakland A's organization, JJ?
Yes, that's part of it, and also aptitude plays a big part of it, too, because if you don't have the aptitude to make adjustments as you progress through the organization, you're not going to make it, even if you have a lot of talent. But you have to be able to withstand failure, and some kids, you know, you can't see that until they match up against somebody that's just as good as them or have as much talent as they have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That failure thing is something, but, you know, the way I dealt with it, because I didn't like to be beat, and I think I think my record stands for the fact that I did deal with a little failure, and they kept running me out there.
Right.
But I made it a fight. You know, I didn't like to be beat, and so when somebody was beating me, I didn't like that, and I made it a fight. It was me against whoever was trying to beat me.
No question about it.
And you know, I didn't want anybody to have their way with me. And as far as adjusting, sometimes I had to stick my face in the dirt, choke up 19 inches, and just poke at the ball rather than strike out. If that's what it took, that's what I had to do.
Right.
But the game is very competitive, and what you don't want is, I'd like to think that you it's so dominant of you and everybody around you. You need to just continue. I've read a lot and listened to music and that, but you got to have some more facets to your life than to dwell it, because they got these things called slumps. You sit up and dwell in them, you're going to be a very unhappy fella.
Yeah, I agree totally. That's what I said about handling failure. You know, that's the difference in some athletes, is they can't, if they go into a rut, they can't come out. And part of that is I watch other sports also to see how they deal in that sport, and especially basketball, because if you have 5 guys on a team, he's going to have something to do with winning or losing that game, whether it's a pass or score. Uh-huh. And I got a great read on some baseball players that played basketball. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did. I played in college myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and hey, I wasn't going to the NBA, but they did keep throwing that ball over the middle of the plate. I got a question for you, Mr. Guinn.
Sure.
I want to know how you, because you are an analytical person. You've been doing that for a long time. Mm-hmm. And now baseball has been inundated with analytics.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know what you feel are the pluses and the minuses of the way the game has changed.
Well, I played 7 years in the minors in the Phillies organization and received some injuries which stopped my progress. But we all knew we didn't need analytics to determine other guys and who could play and who couldn't play in certain situations. And I think, though, that now if guys like great players was playing, and if they was like 0 for 20 against a pitcher, if you used the analytics today, they would be on the bench. But we always said that he's due.
He's due.
So I think that's the biggest difference. You know, I don't know about all this analytical stuff, but I know that we knew each other's weakness, their strength, and we knew what they do in certain situations. And some guys may be a 300 hitter, another guy may be a 250 hitter, but when something's on the line, the 250 hitter is going to come through.
Yeah, found that there are more than one way to skin a cat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I know this much. If they kept running me up there against Phil Negro, and I can't remember me getting one hit off of him, but he told me I did. And then I looked it up, and I got a hit off of him in an old timers game.
Yeah.
And I had him sign the ball. I got it here to this day.
Yes. I played against him in the Sally League in 1960. He was at Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a nice man. But that knuckleball used to dance on me.
Yeah.
Now, your son, he played in the minor leagues too, didn't he?
10 years, 5 years in AAA.
Oh, yeah?
And was an all-star at every level.
At every level.
At every level. AA, AAA, A, rookie.
What organization was that?
Well, he signed with the A's, and then he was traded from the A's to the Cubs for Dennis Eckersley.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I remember.
I usually don't talk about that, but that's the way it was.
Yeah.
He was a top prospect in the organization, and things kind of happened. Had a degree from Cal and a master's. So after things didn't turn out the way it should, he handled it with professionalism, and it hasn't affected him. He has his own business now called Shortstop Management Athletics.
What did they do?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to bring up an interesting point, JJ, and to stick on this. This past, winter, we've seen a lot of influx of Japanese, South Korean players coming in here. The Dodgers laid out over $1 billion to two of them. Yamamoto, the pitcher, I think he got 325, 12-year deal, and Ohtani got a 10-year, 700. The Padres have now picked up a couple of relievers too. When I look at the guys coming over, the transition, I can remember Chan-Ho Park, hell of a pitcher, the Maedas, but then there's been a little bit of head scratching here. God rest his soul. Hideki Arabu, Matsui. Some of these guys dominate in Japan. I know they play station to station. They're phenomenal. They dominate the World Baseball Classic. Those guys, South Korea, they're right up there with the Dominicans, the Cubans, the United States. But I'm looking at down the line. What I'm looking at is, can these guys last? Not only the World Baseball Classic, showcasing them for 3-4 games, but the last 162 game season, and do that, consistently. Because to me, consistency in anything you do makes people believe. What are your thoughts on these guys coming over? Because they can dominate. To me, it's almost like, a guy dominating. And I remember Bob Horner. He dominated the minor leagues, and he struggled when he got to the majors. So some of these guys can tear up the minors. When they get to the majors, it's a whole different ballgame. Is that the same thing with some of these Japanese guys, these influx of guys coming in? They can dominate where they are now, but it's a whole transition period when they come to the States.
Well, I think my answer to your question would be, just like racehorses, there's a class thing involved. In terms of when a horse wins a race, he goes up in class. I think you have more hitters that will give pitchers, and I'm not saying all pitchers, trouble, where over there they're not the same kind of hitters, for power and for averages.
Yeah, I think that in that right there it's a tremendous to play every day in the major leagues. It's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
And the one thing that I noticed that we didn't have back in my day, and I know that sounds like, but we played every day. Now they give these guys a week, a day off, a week, and that, and that. I wish I had a day off a week. That's when I was playing. They'd run you out there every day. But it's the kind of thing that there are American players that can't play a whole season.
Exactly.
And because and if you look at that, guys, and the game has changed. They've made it more like the players more like automatons. It seems to me that they just put them in places and want them to do the thing. They've taken a lot of energy out of the game and a lot of talent by. You can tell that I'm not a big analytics man, and the way they play with the numbers and that kind of thing, because it's taken away. And I always knew center fielder. The team that I was on, I was a center fielder. I ran more than anybody on the team. And counting those 18 times from the dugout to center field and center field to back.
Right.
Back.
Right.
Now
well,
they get to walk
here's the thing with all that. You know, you guys bring up interesting points, and I know it's a loaded question. But the other thing I'm looking at is, you know, I'm looking at this Matsui guy is a 5-time All-Star. You know, the Padres signed him. They're giving him big money. But the thing that stands out to me, he's 5'8". So I don't know what he weighs, but I'm saying to myself, 5'8". The one guy that I saw dominate that was, you know, anywhere, you know, a little taller than that was, and he was 25-3 with the New York Yankees, was Ron Guidry. So
right.
he was about 5'11". So I'm looking at, okay, here's a guy that dominated his country, 39 saves, 5-time All-Star, 5'8" is standing out to me because it's right there. Can he last the season? Are you giving him the money because what he did over there, it's a whole different ball game on what he can do over here, because now you're going to face the likes of the Aaron Judges and all these other guys. So, you know, there's where I start, you know, breaking this whole thing down. Is I'm looking at the whole ball of wax here, and I'm saying to myself, okay, it's nice money, nice career he's had, but now can he last? Can he last the season with that frame and throwing these kind of innings? You know, because nobody's throwing 200 innings no more. The game has changed. We haven't. Bert Blyleven went 17 out of his 20. You're throwing 200 plus innings. We saw the Ryans. We've seen you guys have seen that. Right. We're getting guys going 4 or 5 innings here, and then we got then we got a band of closers coming in here trying to close doors on these guys. So it's a bullpen by committee. So I guess JJ and Bill, the real question is, what happens when we get dead arms here? What happens when they start to figure out these sidearm pitchers or whatever? It's going to be, wow, what did we invest in here?
Yeah. I'll tell you this much: as a player, everyday player, as a hitter, I hate, man, when them arms get tired. That second half of the year, I like that. You know, I don't. Yeah, we'll see a much more offensive oriented game from those guys that got tired. But it seems to me that the players are getting tired too. That second half of the season was a big thing, Mark. But in answer to, I just don't know. They've got the thing so homogenized now that it's hard to figure out anything. Question I want to ask is, what do you think is the future of more African Americans in the big leagues, Mr. Guinn?
Well, that kind of speaks for itself, because you see most kids now are drafted out of college, about 85% of them, and very few black kids go to college to play baseball because it doesn't generate any revenue for their university. Yeah. So they basically is not being signed. Yeah. And there was guys around the Bay Area here that didn't like Ricky Henderson for various reasons. And a lot of scouts, they don't look at what a kid can do, they look at what he can't do. Yeah, and exactly. Projection is the toughest part of scouting, is to project how far a kid can go. And in order to do that, you have to have some background yourself in playing this game and seeing other guys similar that moved on and went to the big leagues. Mm-hmm. We had an older guy, and I'm getting back to the kids from over in Japan. This elder guy used to tell us we were segregated in spring training, and they had him to keep us in order, to talk to. And he used to tell us, you can't tell what a monkey eats till he goes to the bathroom. So we don't know who's going to do what until they do it. We don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. But I think
that's. Let's go ahead.
Baseball is, I came from an era where at one point there was 29.8% African Americans in the game, and then the TV contract came and they just stopped developing African American players.
Yeah, well, here's what I think, and this is without any discrimination or prejudice. They really don't need blacks anymore at the games because they priced them out. You know, you can't go to left field now with a bucket of chicken and have a good time and this and that. So basically, the money is still being made, but you don't need a certain group to make that money.
Yeah. And it's kind of, and players. I'm being navigating this this subject, but they have it's cheaper to get players from the Caribbean, and they built. They finished 20 academies there before they finished one in America.
No question about it. They build complexes over there too. Some of those kids don't even go to school. All they do is play baseball. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
I was you were in the Phillies organization with my roommate, weren't you?
Who?
Ferguson Jenkins.
We roomed together in the Florida State League in 1962.
I know that was something.
He's from Chatham, Canada.
Yeah. Right across the river from
sure.
Detroit. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Sure.
Yeah. That's great pitcher, man.
Great pitcher.
Yeah, 6 20-win seasons in a row.
Yes.
He had that catfish hunter effect of putting that comfortable 0-for-4 on your butt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to tell guys from a scouting a guy doesn't need to throw 95 or 100. He needs to know how to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's what those guys could do, is win the game. Whether it was 5-0 or 10-2 or whatever the score was, they would win the game.
Oh yeah. And they you would see them 4 times.
That's right.
in a game.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And they comfortable 0-for-4 because they knew what they had thrown you before.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And now, you know, baseball is such that you go through the line. If a pitcher gets to his third time through the lineup, they're looking to take him out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you know, because of I think that there's so much specialization that they've taken away a lot of creativity, you know, of guys. There's very few that can go into the 8th and 9th inning, and I think that a lot of that is because they've been told that they're not going to go into that long.
Exactly. That might be coming from upstairs now.
Yeah. Back in my day, Jenkins and Perry and Marichal and Spawn, them guys, that's 300 innings a year right there. Exactly. And they used to laugh at those guys that they used to call them 5 and fly.
Right, exactly.
And I call them bullpen manager killers now.
Well,
somebody throwing too many pitches, you're going to have to go into that bullpen before that you're playing. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a few years that I played, if a guy was pitching great and they took him out, we was glad that they took him out because we weren't doing anything with it. You know, but now I've seen them take guys out pitching a no-hitter in the 6th and 7th inning.
Yeah, amen.
Wow. Hey, let me ask you, you know, JJ and Bill, when you look at some of these key free agents now that are still out there, I mean, used to be we'd have free agents done signing by, you know, December 25th. We're going into January, and there's some norms still out there. Josh Hader, Blake Snell. We got Cody Bellinger still waiting. I mean, we've seen some of these agents hold on to these guys at the last minute for the last available, you know, who's going to give the last, you know, big contract to. But who's an advantage on this right about now? Is it the player that's still, you know, a month away from spring training, not knowing where he's going? and you're trying to uproot himself because you like to be settled in a new city and figure it all out.
Right.
We saw Bryce Harper go the distance with this thing and sign with the Phillies when he did, but are the teams, because I would think the teams would want to have their guys settled in and everything. Why are we waiting until the middle of January before we start opening up their pocketbooks? Why are we doing that, before Christmas anymore?
Well, I think it's a business deal with the agent. I think he's trying to get as much money as he can from whoever is out there. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
I think another part of that too, though, is the fact that when your free agents are getting into their 30s, and they want 3 years or 4 years, they're not giving them that anymore. And so they wait around until the situation is more dire, and the player will accept a different tenure on a contract or different money because he's not being signed, and they just hold out longer now. I think one of the things is the owners do, and because if you're an older free agent, they're going to squeeze you down to where they'll, and so many more of them are signing a minor league contract and going to spring training to make the team.
Right.
And they don't do, they didn't used to do that. No, and I mean, not, but they're right now. They're squeezing. Owners they're making a lot of money, and they got that CBA, collective bargaining agreement, set up in a way that as a union, the players have lost quite a bit of power.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. As we wind this thing down, guys, I mean, any final thoughts? What another great show in the books. And JJ, we so blessed for you to be a part of it. Let everybody know how they can get a hold of you and what you're doing in 2024. And we can't wait to get up to Oakland, man. And I know I'm going to get up there end of April, and Pirates are there for a week playing the Giants and A's, so that should be nice.
Sure. Looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
I'm coming down there. I'll be down there on the 24th for Fan Fest, Mr. Guinn.
Okay.
February 24th. I'll give you a call before I get down there.
Give me a call.
Yeah, hey, Bill, set it up so we can all meet out there maybe in end of April with the Pirates in town. I know in San Francisco and Oakland, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Okay. But as far as the tickets, I can get them.
Yeah. I'll get the foul ball off the bucket list for sure this year in Oakland.
Oh yeah, I got Baker in San Francisco, and I got Dietrich in Oakland.
Yeah.
I'm good, guys.
You're good.
There you go.
In the front row.
There you go. Hey, Billy, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you, my friend.
I just thank you so much, Mr. Guinn, for being on with us. You can reach me anytime at Bill Norte, BILLNORTE 15 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And hit me up, and I just want to tell you, our fans out there, that we appreciate you, and our guests, that we appreciate him too, and we're just thanking them for the time that they spend with us. And don't forget the North Legacy Project. If you get a chance to look it up online, it's my foundation, and we could use as much help as we can get.
Okay, and Bill, look up SSM Athletics. That's my son and his son's business.
Okay.
And they got the background of his 3 kids and himself. And I think you'll be impressed with what
I will. I certainly will, yeah.
Okay.
Wow, we can't wait for that. Hey, for JJ Guinn, for Billy North, yours truly, Mark Mancini in Los Angeles, thanks for listening. We can't wait to do this again next week. Same time, same channel. Have a blessed one.
Okay.
Catch the archive version on blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports, and have a safe week. Good night, everybody.
And thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, fans. Thanks.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yep.
God bless.
All right. See you, Billy.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.